Well, hello and welcome to Virtual Church. A very warm welcome to Virtual Church. So warm, in fact, that we've actually got the fan going in the background here. I hope it doesn't distract your concentration of these wonderful hymns and organ pieces. Of course, that was a Worship the King, all glorious above. Oh, gratefully sing his power and his love. A wonderful way to start today's VC. The tune was called Hanover, and the words are by Robert Grant. It was actually a request from Phil, who is one of our patrons. So thank you very much for your request, and it's a wonderful way to start today's show. Can you guess the organ? I've actually written it in the description already, but if you haven't seen the description, you've already been told apparently. If you don't read the description, then shame on you, because I write words in the description for every video that I put online. Some interesting sort of behind the scenes, a bit of context, words in the description. Please make sure you read the description. I'd appreciate that. In there it says Alessandria, and there's recently been an update to Alessandria. Basically, it's just been made a little bit more lifelike. I hope you can hear that. I wonder whether you can actually hear the differences between the old Alessandria organ and the new one. Let's say this is the summer tuning of the organ, where the organ tuners haven't been in for a while, and it's a little bit ready for a tune, you might say. I like it when organs sound like that, because it sounds really, really authentic, particularly this time of year when it's hot. The next hymn is for O Lord of every shining constellation that wheels in splendour through the midnight sky.
I got it wrong.
You've got it wrong already. So what am I playing then?
How great thou art.
I'm playing How Great Thou Art, apparently. Sorry, Keith, I wondered what was going on. Concentrate. All right.
The page must have turned over.
Concentrate. Keith, you want How Great Thou Art. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hand hath made. I see the stars, I hear the mighty thunder. Well, not today. Thy power throughout the universe displayed. So this is Keith, who's one of our Patreons. Keith is also a patron of fires and all things logs. So if you ever need any logs, Keith's your man. Here we go, Keith. I've been keeping you waiting for a long time, so here we go. How Great Thou Art. There we go, Keith. I hope that was all right for you. Hope you were singing. I'm sure you haven't got the fire going today, have you? I'm sure you've got those windows open, the birds singing through the windows, that wonderful view down towards the train line. And I'm sure you were waking or should I say, arousing your neighbours by your wonderful singing there in your wonderful bass pitch. Soprano melody, maybe 2 octaves lower. Right. Next hymn is more of a reflective one. This is a sort of a nice hymn that you might have as an office hymn at evensong, perhaps, just before the Magnificat or before the psalm, wherever the hymn goes. It's O strength and stay, upholding all creation, whoever dost thyself unmoved abide. Yet day by day the light in due graduation from hour to hour through all its changes guide. The tune is called Strength and Stay. Words by St Ambrose, and the request is from Paul. So thank you very much, Paul. This is a reflective one, like I say, so I'll probably make use of some of the quieter stops, shall we? What shall we have? Let's try the cornet on the Great manual. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. Oh, excuse me, yes I am. The cornet on the Great. Shall we? Just with the choir and the swell flutes. I think that would sound quite nice in this organ. The flutes on this organ are particularly nice, I think. Okay, there we go. So, O strength and stay, upholding all creation. Beautiful tune indeed, isn't it, that? So you had 3 solo registrations there. You had the cornet for verse 1, and then you had basically a quint, but I'm not going to try to pronounce the Italian word for it with the 4-foot on the Great. And then verse 3, you had the cromorn, or the clarinet, down an octave, basically in the tenor pitch, with the accompanied by the beautiful strings on this instrument. Please do introduce yourself. You know, I think we know a lot of, I'm familiar with a lot of your names now, but if you're new, particularly if you're new, please do say hello. Please do introduce yourself and let us know where you are from in the world. In fact, everybody, please do let me know, let Caroline know who's in. So to say hello, where you are, you know, America, Texas, I know Texas is in America, London, Edinburgh, Bradford, Bognor Regis, you know, all of these sorts of places. Let us know where you are. It's wonderful to know where people are listening from. A really diverse community we are. One of the most diverse churches in the world. Okay, this next hymn is a wonderful English, strong, majestic hymn. It is I Vow to Thee, My Country, All Earthly Things Above. The tune is called, of course, it's called Thaxted. Most of you know this already. Most of you also know it's by Gustav Holst, and it is lifted from the Planets Suite. This is a request from Katie, who is in South Africa. So I know at least we've got one person in South Africa, but where else are you all listening from in the world today? So we've got 150 odd people listening at this very moment. I want to see 150 odd messages come flying in right now. While you're doing that, I'm going to play Thaxted, I Vow to Thee, My Country, All Earthly Things Above. Such a wonderful hymn there, one of the greatest hymns, I think, in the hymn books. Words by Cecil Arthur Spring Rice from the late 19th, early 20th century. Wonderful tune indeed, isn't it? It just sums up images of a very majestic and grand service in somewhere like Westminster Abbey or St Paul's Cathedral, with everyone sort of dressed up and all the pomp and circumstance and everyone just singing their hearts out. It's a really wonderful tune. And there's another country I've heard of long ago most dear to them that love her, most great to them that know. I love that. And there's another country. I love. You know, the problem with my opinion. I'll give you one of my opinions. I don't often give you my opinion because I think that they're private to me. But my opinion on modern translations of some hymns, some wonderful hymns. You know, some of the modern translations where I guess the words are changed to make the story, the translation, easier to understand, I guess, for people who aren't necessarily going to church all the time, people who might go and swing by church on a Sunday morning if the weather's nice, don't go to church very often. Hymn books that really sort of spoon feed people with their modern translations. That takes away a lot of the need, one's need to think about what the words are, think about what the author is trying to say through poetry. I think that's really powerful if you can think about what the word, you know, on first reading a sentence, what does this mean? This is all, you know, it's all alluding to something else. It's all alluding to something, but what does this mean in reality? And then, so it's actually referring to this. You know, it's when you put two and two together, you think about it, then it all just, like a jigsaw, clicks into place and you remember it and it makes so much more sense. If it's spelled out to you, black and white, simple language, it's just throw away. You sort of read it, sing it, forget it, go home, have your roast beef. But if you have to think about it, you end up driving home thinking, what did that mean? What did that mean? Have your roast beef, spill a bit down your top, as I always do. Got it. I know what it means. And then you remember it, and then you thought of, you know, it clicks. And some of the words in that are wonderful. I think one of my favourite psalms is Psalm 43. Is it Psalm 42? Gosh, I've just got them rolled up now. Like as the heart's desire after the water brooks, so longeth my soul after you, O God. So, you know, I'm waffling a bit now, but the sentence of two halves, isn't it? You know, like as the heart desireth the water brooks, like as a deer wants some water because it's hot, so longeth my soul after thee, O God. So just like a deer wants some water, it's thirsty. I want you, God. I want you. You know, but then if you translate it to as the deer pants, or whatever it is, as the deer pants, so, well, I can't even remember what the wretched words are now. But just see what I mean. I've forgotten those words because I don't, doesn't mean anything to me at all. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm getting at? Anyway, that's my opinion on modern translations. I'm not saying that that's a bad modern translation at all. I think those are wonderful words, which just made me think of that. Anyway, enough talk, more playing, and more singing. This next hymn is, where is it on here? There are 3 hymns on this page. It's My God, how wonderful thou art, thy majesty how bright, how beautiful thy mercy seat in depths of burning light. The words are by Frederick William Faber, and the music is called, the tune is called Windsor, as in Windsor Castle, Windsor. So this is a request for Tristan, another one of our patrons who's been on board for a very long time. So thank you very much, Tristan, for your ongoing support. Thank you very much. Someone has also asked, I think the question has been answered in the chat already. This is one of the great things about having a community who know more than I do about the upcoming 24-hour Bark Marathon, or Barkathon as it's called, put together by Anna Lapwood of Pembroke College in Cambridge. I am indeed playing a slot towards the end. I think it starts on Tuesday morning. You'll have to find out what time it starts. I don't know, to be honest. I'm actually I'm helping her put it all together. So she and I are putting all the videos, compiling all the videos together, and exporting them and doing all of that sort of stuff. So I should know, but I don't. Anyway, I'm playing. If you want to tune in for my bit, it's Wednesday morning. I think towards the final couple of hours. I think it's 10 o'clock or something on Wednesday morning. So you'll have to check your local time zones as always. But it's well worth doing. It's well worth supporting. It's on Facebook. Yeah, well worth supporting. So here we go, Tristan. My God, how wonderful thou art, thy majesty, how bright. Sorry to keep you waiting. Wonderful tune. They're a very dignified tune, which I'd never heard of before or played. So thank you very much. Do you know, interestingly, in this hymn book, it says the alternative tune is Windsor, but the music I just played is also Windsor. I think it's a different harmonisation, actually. Yes, it's a different version of Windsor. So there was two versions of the tune Windsor, I think. I hope that one was the correct one, Tristan. Henk, let's go into one for you. What are we going to have then? Oh, for 1,000 tongues to sing, my dear Redeemer's praise, the glories of my God and King, the triumphs of his grace. Yes, this is a great, I love the words. Again, I love the idea of 1,000 people, 1,000 tongues singing the praise of Jesus. I love that idea, you know, a big crowd of people. Imagine the noise. 1,000 people singing, I vow to thee my country. Let's imagine that. Which tune are we having, by the way? First or second tune?
First.
Okay, I'll play the first tune. It's called Oxford New. Imagine we haven't quite got to 1,000 people yet in our weekly audience or congregation. I'm sure we will eventually. It's really hot in here in England, so I think most sensible people here in the UK are outside having a sip of beautiful, white, cold, refreshing rosé or white wine or something. which is where I'll be later on. But before we get to that, I want to play this hymn, imagining 1,000 people singing it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to play organ pieces today as well. This is the first time that I've played this organ in its new guise, its new tuning. And I really want to put it through its paces a little bit. So I've got a piece by Paul Manns, which has been requested. Christ lag in Todsbanden, Christ lay in death's strong bands. Never played it before in my life, apart from for 5 minutes or so just before today's VC, so I hope I can play it. Oh, that's coming up after this hymn. This is O for 1,000 Tongues to Sing, My Dear Redeemer's Praise for Henk. just taken off the edge a little bit from the organ. It's really odd that it was just clipping, because it's not clipping at all on any of my systems or volume meters here locally. So I wonder how it's coming over the internet distorted. Very odd. So I just made a little adjustment. So you can let us know the next piece isn't overly loud, but let us know if when we get loud later on with the hymns, if it's still doing it or not, and we'll make sure that the levels are better. So this is, as I said, this is a piece by Paul Manns. It is, Christ lagging towards abandon, which translates to Christ lay in death's strong bands. It's a wonderful Lutheran hymn which J.S. Bach knew really well. He harmonised it, arranged it, and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm going to play. This is a request from Terry, by the way. Terry sent me this book, so thank you very much, Terry. I'm going to play the hymn, the Lutheran hymn, and then I'll go straight into the sort of the postlude, if you like. It's just like an improvisation. It's only 3 pages long. It's quite short, a bit tricky because there's lots of parallel fourths and stuff like that. A bit like Matthias or Leighton, if you English organists know that sort of music. Anyway, let's have a look at this then. So Terry, thank you for sending this through. Sorry it's taken a while. Thank you for your gifts. And we'll play this now. It makes use of the tuba. Okay, so the tuba isn't entirely in tune at the minute. It's really warm in Italy, and we're just having to make do with an out-of-tune organ, just the way I like it. Here we go then. So the original hymn followed by the Paul Manns arrangement. that's how it ends, just like that, rather abruptly. I think it's meant to be, you know, Christ lay in death's strong bands, you know, and just like all that sort of stabbing. Imagine it being quite painful. I think that's what Paul Manz was trying to get at, you know, on the cross, you know, the motion of nails going in, you know, banging away. I think that's probably what he was getting at, because they're all marked staccato, those notes. I think throughout, actually, it's all staccato. So, yeah, a rather fun piece. That. Thank you very much, Terry, for bringing that to my attention. Before starting Virtual Church, I didn't actually play any of Paul Manz's organ music. The only piece I knew of his, as do most English people who work in the church and work with choirs, is his wonderful choral setting, Even So, Lord Jesus, Quickly Come. A wonderful, wonderful piece indeed. Wonderful, wonderful piece indeed. A wonderful chord. Yes, wonderful stuff. So I know that, but I didn't know any of his organ music. Anyway, so shall we get on to the next hymn, which is a wonderful hymn for the communion in the Eucharistic service. Just as I am without one plea, but that thy blood was shed for me, and that thou bidst me come to thee, and that thou bidst. It's got a sort of a syllable missing out of it. BIDD hyphen ST, biddest, and that thou biddest me come to thee, O Lamb of God, I come. Bidst. Had a wonderful day on Wednesday in Guildford Cathedral, just in the county of Surrey, here in the UK, south of London. And in Surrey is a wonderful cathedral with a wonderful four-manual organ, and I was there on Wednesday recording it for an organ recital to be broadcast later in the month, played by their very, very talented organist, Richard Moore. He plays a piece by Max Reger, which lasts over 20 minutes. It's a chorale fantasy on how brightly shines the morning star. Oh, it's terrific, really, really amazing. He plays it really, really well, and the organ sounds fantastic. That's going online towards the end of the month, the recital, but before we get to the recital, I'm going to be just introducing it, taking you behind the scenes, just like I did with Truro, really. It's called Recording Guildford. It's a new series, you know, recording wherever we're going. So this current one is Recording Guildford, and I'll put that online on Tuesday evening. So look out on Tuesday for the first episode of Recording Guildford. It's a really terrific cathedral. If you haven't been, you really, really should. It's on the top of this wonderful hill called Stag Hill in Surrey, and it just dominates the skyline around there. You go in and it's just this amazing, bright, white space with this vast, new acoustic. I say a new because I've had a new ceiling, new plaster, and the previous plaster, fun fact, was acoustic plastering, which deadened the sound a bit like they have in the Albert Hall with those mushrooms. It's bounced the sound back down, but it's, you know, they had acoustic plastering. That's been ripped out because it had asbestos in it. And they put a new plaster in, and the sound just washes around the cathedral for about 8 or 9 seconds. It's amazing. So you've got to watch that on Tuesday night. Here we go. Just as I am without one plea for Julian, who is one of our Patreon, and also for Alan, who is another one of our patrons. So thank you very much, guys, for being patrons. If you're watching and are not a Patreon, please do consider becoming one, because it just supports the channel. It helps us tick along, basically. Without the patrons and without your support and donations, quite simply, there wouldn't be a recording Truro, or a recording Guildford, or recording Top Secret in July. Aha, so that's to come, not yet told you what that is. So, here we go. Charlotte Elliott wrote these words, 1789 to 1871. And the tune is called Saffron Walden by Arthur Henry Brown. A really beautiful tune indeed, that, isn't it? Really, really wonderful. Just wonder, have I got my octave set up? I'm just going to try my octaves. Bear with me a sec. No, I haven't. I haven't got my octaves. Okay. Right, I'm just going to have to multitask for a second because I realised that I haven't got my swell or choir octave set up. And you all know what an octave is, don't you? So you pull an octave on an organ and it plays it up the octave. So what I'm just going to do is have the strings on, lovely chord of F sharp minor, and let's just make sure that the swell octave, that's a sub octave, so I'll set that to swell sub octave there. Only, yes, so I've got swell sub octave, yep, and then swell super octave, let's have it there. Yes, we do. So here we go again. Yes. You know I like to have my octaves because I can do all sorts of things with the registration. Let's just do the choir one whilst we're here. Where is it? There it is. So this organ, let's have choir suboctave, followed by, this is really, really interesting for you guys, isn't it? But it will just make my registrations a bit more interesting. There we go. So we've got choir and swell octaves now set up on the organ. So this next hymn is by, the music is by Donald Swan, and the tune is called Flanders. So I wonder whether those two sort of words or names mean anything to anyone. Donald Swan and Flanders, Flanders and Donald Swan, Flanders and Swan. The words are, praise the Lord who reigns above and keeps his court below. Praise the holy God of love and all his greatness show. Interestingly, it's got a separate sort of organ part here which goes above the melody, so I'll have to make sure I play the melody first, maybe for the first verse, and then I'll let rip a little. So 3 verses. This is a request from John Mander, another one of our Patreons. Words are by Charles Wesley, the great hymn writer and Methodist, Charles Wesley. And the music is by Swan, who obviously named it after his friend Flanders. Flanders and Swan. Praise the Lord who reigns above. There we go. I've never heard that before in my entire life. So thank you very much, John, for suggesting that one. What fun. I think Donald Swan was actually a very clearly, through their music, a very talented a musician and composer. And what he did with those words was extraordinary, really, wasn't it? Because the words always came first, I gather, then he would have to write the music around the words. Great stuff, thank you very much. Okay, the next hymn, which is not by Flanders or by Swan, it's actually by Parry, Joseph Parry, not the famous Charles Hubert Hastings Parry. This is Joseph Parry, 1841 to 1903, so actually a bit earlier than great Hubert Parry. Tune is called Aberystwyth, obviously down in Wales, and again the words are by Charles Wesley. Wonderful, wonderful tune in E minor. I wonder whether Caroline will actually go and fetch me the Noel Rawsthorne book, please. This is a request from Mark, so thank you very much, Mark, for requesting this. It'll be right at the beginning because it's alphabetical order and it's A. Thank you very much, actually, by the way, for watching last night for the organ recital. Those of you who joined me last night, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate that. Bach and Buxtehude on the wonderful organ, the very historical Schnitzke organ, Arp Schnitzke, but for you non-organists, was an organ builder around the time of Bach, around that sort of period, and playing Baroque music on a Baroque organ is really, really wonderful. So last night's recital was given on the organ in Martinikerk in Groningen in the Netherlands. They're so lucky in the Netherlands to have such wonderful organs. I'm very, very envious indeed. I really have to come over and play them, including that one. So if anyone knows the organist at Martinikerk, maybe you might drop him a sort of a little note, try and get us in the church to have a go on it. So thank you very much for watching that last night. It was great fun. Actually, the Bach pieces, the reason I did it on Saturday, and the reason it was pre-recorded rather than live is because I wanted to record. It was all recorded for the Bach-a-thon, Bach marathon on Tuesday, Wednesday. So my Bach pieces are the ones that I'm playing for that. You see, so I recorded it and then combined it with Buxtehude as well. So the Bach items are going into the Bach marathon.
Usually thinks you're playing on Tuesday at 10 a.m.
So maybe the Bach marathon starts tomorrow, Monday.
I think it does.
Oh crikey! Well, after this I need to get working and finish my bits because I know we'll be getting a bit itchy because I haven't done my bits yet. I'm doing half of it for her. So anyway, that's for me to do, and for you not to worry about. Aberystwyth, she's you, lover of my soul, and this is a request from Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. TS to Picardy. It's one of the few hymns I would consider ending with a TS to Picardy. I think it's generally, a bit cheap to end on a major chord with, if it's a minor tune. But this one, spring thou up within my heart, rise to all eternity. I think it actually, particularly when you're doing a bit of a reharmonisation, I think a bit of a TS to Picardy actually works rather well. Do hope you agree. Okay, right. Let's push on. Let's crack on with the next hymn. Ooh, wow, what's this? This one looks exciting. Okay, yeah. The previous hymn actually is has sort of antiphons and stuff, but we're not doing that one, I don't think. We're doing we walk by faith and not by sight. No gracious words we hear from him who spoke as none ever spoke, but we believe him near. Words are by Henry Alford. Tune is called St. Botolph by Gordon Slater. It's a well-known tune, actually. I don't know these words, but the tune is recognisable. We'll have to put in the chat what the words are, what we normally sing here in the UK. I can't think actually what the words are to this tune in NEH. Someone will. Whoever gets it first wins a prize of respect. Please do make some requests for organ music, by the way. I don't know whether you have already. I'll ask Caroline in a second when she's back. But if you want some organ music, please do make some requests for them. Although, also, if you want to submit your own playing of a hymn for Virtual Church, just like Jerry did for our organ compline on Thursday night, please do let me know by getting in touch. I really want to get more people involved with Virtual Church, so please do submit your own. Well, initially, get in touch and we'll talk about what you might be able to do for me. Yes, thank you. We'll talk about organ compline after this. Okay, we walk by faith and not by sight. This is for Jay, who is another one of our patrons. So thank you very much, Jay. Well, we've had a request from Father Diego in Argentina for Eternal Father strong to save, whose arm doth bind the restless wave. Very naval, a very nautical themed based hymn. But apparently, is it in Argentina? Today is remembers the mustard seed.
Everybody. It's in the.
The parable of the mustard seed. I don't know the parable of the mustard seed. That must have slipped me by. I don't like mustard anyway, so that's why. I don't like mustard at all. So every time it gets mentioned, I just think about something else. I'm just trying to think why on earth this hymn would be relevant to mustard seed. Its angry torment cease, possibly. Foaming deep makes me foam, mustard. Don't know. I'm going to play this, I'm going to look at the words, and I'm going to come up with, well, I'm probably not going to come up with anything, but I'm going to see whether I can think of a connection between mustard and Melita.
So the mustard seed was the smallest seed, but it grew into a huge plant.
Okay, well that's a clue, okay. Okay, so thank you very much, Diego. We'll have this wonderful hymn. It's a wonderful, wonderful tune. It's featured in the film Crimson Tide, for which Hans Zimmer wrote the music. And I was struck by the speed at which the choir sing this hymn in the film, in the soundtrack. I won't play it that slow, but it's something like this. I won't do it this slow, don't worry. Really powerful stuff, actually, but I think Hans Zimmer wanted to have the hymn there in the body of everything else around it. So it's very striking. I forget what the track is in the soundtrack, but it's well worth listening to. So it's the Crimson Tide soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, a wonderful composer. The composer of this one is John Dykes. I think it's John. It's J.B. Dykes, and the words are by William Whiting. There we go. So that was for the parable of the mustard seed. I'm going to have to look back through the chat because I haven't the foggiest idea what the connection between that is and mustard. For the funeral of the Duke of Edinburgh, I think most of you may have seen this, even people who don't live here in the UK. The funeral of the Duke of Edinburgh, there was a beautiful arrangement of that by James Vivian, the director of music there. Because no congregation, so the choir had to sing the hymn, and it was a wonderful opportunity to write for James to write an arrangement of that, and the arrangement, which is basically all 4 verses of that, starts. Remember, started with a solo voice. Simon Whiteley, who I got to know at York a little bit. Wonderful singer, but I was watching it, thinking, how on earth are you doing this? You know, there's one voice, single voice in this cavernous, spacious, empty nave. But of course, how many million people were watching it from around the world? I think rather more than are watching me today. Millions and millions of people were watching it, and I just thought, Simon, you have absolute nerves of steel to do that. And it was immaculate. You know, it's very easy to just push the pitch up, or when you're anxious and when the adrenaline's sort of going and your heart's racing and you're a bit warm. It's very easy to actually push the pitch upwards, but he's a true professional and he didn't. It was immaculate, and when the organ came in a bit later on, just bang in tune, incredible. I thought, hats off to you for doing that. It was a wonderful, and a really wonderful arrangement actually, wasn't it? A really terrific arrangement. Okay, this next hymn is not one that I know. It hasn't passed by my music desk before. It's "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing, Tune my heart to sing Thy grace." Actually, the words are sounding a little bit familiar as I'm saying them out loud. Streams of mercy never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Well, we can do loud, can't we? The words are by Robert Robinson, and I think the second tune is called Normandy. Let's see if we know it. Wonderful tuning, isn't it? Not as good as Simon Whiteley's tuning. Don't know it at all, so we'll get to know this one together. 3 verses of this tune for Andantino, who is, of course, you all know this. Andantino is one of our patrons and has been for a very long time. So thank you very much, Anne, for everything you've done for me and the channel over the past few months. So here we go. This is what is it again? It's "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing." Great fun, that one, Anne, isn't it? So it's sort of one you can just sort of nodding your head along to in a church service. Not one that I've ever done before. I think I've just been to places which are far too traditional for that. Big acoustics, playing the big acoustics, you can't have that sort of music in a big acoustic because no one will have any idea what on earth is going on. I think, Lee, if you're still in the chat, we need to catch up, don't we? It's on my mind right now. Just thought during that hymn, I want to get people involved with virtual church. I want to get organists involved with virtual church, and I want choirs to get involved with virtual church as well moving forwards. Can you make a note of this so we can chat about it on the phone? Do any of the Northampton District Organists Association want to get involved and play hymns on virtual church? Let's talk about that, shall we? Next hymn is going to be Great is Thy Faithfulness. I just can't get the staff because I have to find it myself. I'm looking in the index right now. I'm going to go to G and the R. Great is Thy, it's number 453. Who knew? And I have no idea who it's for. So whoever has requested this, thank you very much indeed. I've heard this sung. I took a visiting. I took my London chamber choir to Chichester Cathedral to sing for a weekend there, and we were given the hymns. And this one was one of the hymns for Sunday morning. I forget. It must Matins or Eucharist. And it's a good Methodist hymn, this. And I've always sort of done it a bit like this. Probably how I'll play it today, a bit quick, Almost like one on a bar. Do 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 do. But the organist at the time played this very differently to the way I played it. He played it much more legato and a bit more sort of a very different hymn, but something like Abide With Me, quite powerful. Same sort. It's the same key, but quite slow. So I might. Do you know what? I might try it. It's just for fun. Try things out live, see how it goes. If it doesn't work, then we'll do it the way we always do it. So thank you very much for requesting this. Whoever it was, I don't know. So you're in the chat, I hope. Thank you very much. 3 verses, including the refrain, and what else is there to say? Nothing really. Words are by Thomas Chisholm, around the late 20th century, late 19th century, mid 20th century. The words are by W.M. Runyon. That's Runyon, not onion. Runyon. Great is Thy Faithfulness, played a bit differently for the first time. Let's try it out. Do you know what? I think I might be converted to a new tempo of that. I think that works rather well, doesn't it? It really, it's really incredible how much adjusting the tempo of a hymn can really affect the passion and meaning of the words. If you play something really quick and loud, naturally it becomes upbeat and a positive sort of rejoicing story. But if you play something a bit slower and with a bit more dignity, it just changes the feeling of the piece, doesn't it? And I think actually I quite like it like that. I think I quite like it very much 3 in a bar rather than heading towards 1 in a bar. So yes, I think that's actually a good learning curve for me to slow things down a bit. You've probably noticed actually I don't tend to play things at breakneck speeds. I never really have, simply because I can't play things that quickly. I play things just a bit slower, just to get a bit more accuracy. But sometimes I think actually you can get more out of the music with slower speeds. Should we have a bit of this? This has been in the wings in our library for a very long time. Can you see what it is? I don't know whether you can see that. I hope the quality is good enough. We're not in 4K, we're only in 1080, full HD. It's the Lang tuba tune. I've just lost count of how many times this has been requested by various people. I just said, I haven't got it. So I've got no excuse now, because I have got it. So I've got to play it. And it was requested, gosh, it's been requested over the months by many, many people indeed. So this is actually for everyone who has requested this piece over the various months. I think specifically, Eddie, this one it's for you. You've had a great weekend on my channel, Eddie, haven't you? You've had Bach, you've had Buxtehude, 2 of your favourites, and now you're going to have some Lang. The only person that you haven't had is Handel. So maybe you should go back and watch the organ concerto that I put on the other day after this, just to get your full weekend of favourite composers. So, Lang, tuba tune. Luckily on this organ we have a terrific organ. On this organ we have a terrific tuba. Yes, on this tuba we have a very good organ, don't we? That's the way it works. On this organ we have a very good tuba. It's an English voiced tuba on this organ, voiced very much in the English style. Having a tuba, by the way, on an organ is very much an English thing. We love our tubas here in the UK. If you go to the Netherlands or to France, Germany, historically you don't really get a tuba at all. You get pizzounds and reeds and on chamades, that sort of thing, but you very rarely get tubas. But in Alessandria there is this tuba and it's terrific, so let's make the most of it. You have heard me play the Cocker tuba tune on it already. That sounds rather good. But now you're going to hear me play the Lang tuba tune. The last time I played this, true story, was for my grade 5? 4 or 5? So that was a while ago, if I'm honest. It wasn't that recently I did that. And I hope I can still play it. It's quite basic, isn't it? It's just basic harmony. Let's see. I shouldn't have said that. It's going to go all wrong. So it's in D major, 3 beats in the bar, 4 beats in the bar, and to get that right. And there's various repeats as well. So let's see how we get on. So this is tuba tune by C.S. Lang. It is a bit of a daft piece, isn't it, really? To be honest, it's just, I mean, I think it's terrific, but at the same time, it's very daft. It's just, you know, compared to the Cocker Tuba Tune, which is a very serious piece, goes through all sorts of keys and is very, very hard at one particular infamous moment. But this is just a whole lot of fun, isn't it? You can imagine C.S. Lang writing that with a twinkle in his eye. Well, obviously, a little bit of a pew motto towards the end, but hey, why not? I had to make up for it for playing that previous hymn really slowly, so I had to get some speed out. There we go. That was a sort of a rather bizarre rendition of the C.S. Lang tuba tune. Why does he repeat every section, I wonder? I don't know, just to pad out the time. I don't know. Right, so the voluntary tonight is going to be in about 10 minutes' time because you've requested a particular voluntary, so someone's going to have to go and fetch it for me from the library. But meanwhile, I'm just going to play just a couple of hymns myself, if you don't mind. A couple of my favourites. So where shall we go first? I'm going to play two hymns actually. So I need to make a note of page numbers because I'm not used to this common phrase. I don't know where hymns are in it. I've got NAH there. I'll play from NAH because I know the hymns numbers better in this one. So where is it? Where's one of my favourites? Where should we go? Where should we go? What's he going to choose? What's he going to choose? There it is. This wonderful tune by Richard Terry. I really love this tune. It's not a tune that I ever sang as a chorister, despite we used to use this hymn book in Chesterfield. But the tune is called Highwood. You can have different words, but the words, O perfect love, all human thoughts transcending, lowly we kneel in prayer before thy throne, that theirs may be the love that knows no ending, whom thou for evermore didst join in one. There's there's another set of words that you can use to this tune. So if you want to sort of sing at home to your own version, please do. But the tune is called Highwood and it's by Richard Terry. It's wonderful. And then I'll play another piece which was in my top 10 the other week. So obviously that was Jerusalem, one of the all-time greats. I think many people will agree with me that it is definitely one of the greatest hymns ever written, isn't it? It's wonderful. Everything about it is just so wonderful. The words, the tune, the harmony was just perfect. So I think that was a great way, if I say so myself, to end today's virtual church. Before we end, though, we need to have the voluntary, and I'm just sort of, I sometimes go straight into it, but I'm just going to psych myself up a little bit, simply because there are occasions when I just wish that I'd had chance to practice. And I haven't practiced this. It is, you've asked for it, so you're going to get it. That's how it works, isn't it? You get what you asked for. It is the William Walton Crown Imperial. It's one of the pomp and circumstances which Elgar never wrote. So I'll see what I can do with this, this organ and my divisionals and stuff. So a wonderful piece, a wonderful piece indeed. And was written, you know, I think I've told this story before, but it was actually written for the coronation of King George's brother. Gosh, why can't I remember his name? The guy who abdicated. Maybe it wasn't. I've forgotten the story now, but it was actually written for one of the coronations around this sort of time, and was never performed because something happened. But that's the crucial nugget of the story. I can't remember what happened, but it was then performed at the next coronation. So that's a clue. Someone will know. Someone will just fill the gap there, and tell everyone in the chat what on earth I'm talking about. Anyway, so let's just see if I can play some right notes in this. This is Crown Imperial by William Walton, arranged by Herbert Murrell. was interesting, wasn't it? There was, I think we ran out of computer power there. It's yes, basically too many notes being played at once for the computer to keep up with, and that's basically a polyphony issue. You help workers know exactly what I mean. I've just loaded up this organ today for the first time and put the polyphony quite high to see what would happen. I thought it would be okay, but with all the octaves at the end, it proved too much for the computer. So we just have to stop for a second, let it calm down, catch its breath, and then crack on. There's actually a rather better version of me playing that on the channel, where I incorporate some of my own little ideas. It's a sort of thing really that needs to be registered and sort of set up really. It's a great piece. It's a really, really terrific piece. The Orban Scepter as well, which is harder than that, is also a terrific piece. I think arguably the Orban Scepter is actually a slightly better piece in my view. Overshadowed by Crown Imperial, mind. I think it's because it's harder to play, so organists don't play it. But it's a better piece. It's also on the channel. Actually, it might not be. I'll put it on the channel very soon. So as I mentioned probably a couple of hours ago by now, an hour and a half ago, this coming Tuesday, I'll be putting on a video of my adventures in Guildford Cathedral. Wonderful cathedral, wonderful organ. Sharing the experience with you, the recording of the organ. So we'll be going through it together, showing you how all the microphones are set up and all of that sort of stuff that I know how much you like. So that's on Tuesday. Next Saturday is supposed to be the third trio sonata. Now the problem is, I've been rather busy. I've been rather busy recently. Doing like sort of music, and I haven't quite learnt it yet. So what I can play of it is the final page of the final movement and nothing else. So we'll have to see whether I can get it up to a standard or not by next Saturday. If not, I'll have to put something in its place. Anyway, so until next Saturday, it probably be, because it's this late in the day, it'll probably be a pre-record. I'm not sure I'm brave enough to do it live with that little practice. So we'll probably be pre-record. And the virtual church next week, you know all this. Go and have a look at the schedule. I'm not going to spoon feed you. It's on the community tab, on the homepage. It's all there for you to go and have a look at. Go and have a look at the schedule. It's all there, clearly listed. Don't tell me that I don't tell you when things are coming up, because it's there, black and white. But there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope you've enjoyed Alessandria with the slightly bizarre tuning. I hope you've enjoyed the hymns, and I hope you've enjoyed the organ pieces. I hope you've enjoyed the sort of last minute Walton at the end there. No practice, not even engaging brain, enough time to engage brain. It's all live. It's all fun. It's worship, isn't it? It's all live, and it's just in the spur of the moment. That's why these things are so wonderful. So we'll say cheerio. Stay safe, and thank you all very much for being involved and just for getting involved, donations, and your help. It's wonderful, a really wonderful experience. So I will sign off now and say cheerio. Goodbye, everyone. Apologies that there were no steam trains today. That's just an electric Southwest trains. Very boring. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.